More headlines this week. Another member of former President Trump's inner circle facing legal trouble with charges filed involving the Trump Organization. It was a busy week for the former president. He visited the southern border in Texas along with dozens of Republican lawmakers, including Indiana Representative Jim Banks. Congressman Banks also in the news after an interview last weekend on Fox News Sunday where he was asked if Republicans were in fact the ones, quote unquote, defunding the police by voting against the president's rescue plan, providing billions for state and local governments. Banks and the Indiana GOP pushing back, saying they, quote, always stand by the police. Meantime, Indy's mayor responding to a violent shootout last weekend right in the heart of downtown Indianapolis. Just the latest in a string of incidents this summer with violent crime numbers on the rise.
There were a lot of shots fired, but, that kind of violence anywhere in our city is unacceptable. And that's why IMPD is redoubling its efforts to make sure that the 4th of July weekend is a safe weekend to come downtown, enjoy the fireworks, and celebrate our nation's birthday.
All right, let's talk about it all right now with our panel. Abdul Hakim Shabazz from IndyPolitics.org. Insiders Adam Wren with us here in studio as well. And on Zoom, we're joined by former communications director for the Indiana Democrats, Jennifer Wagner, and former GOP lawmaker Mike Murphy. Abdul, I'm going to start with you. These discussions on policing in America, on crime in our cities, they continue to be front and center, really, when it comes to our political landscape.
Yes, it does. First of all, in fairness to the mayor, crime is up in a lot of cities across the country. So that is true. However, we live in Indianapolis, and what happened downtown, like I said, the past couple weeks was uncalled for. We had 122 murders, which is uncalled for, and it takes for folks to really step up. And I will say this, the downtown merchants have been yelling and clamoring for help to get our downtown back to normal, because we just had our first big convention pop up here. We got more conventions coming, so downtown's got to be safe so we can enjoy our city.
Mike, what are you hearing about the crime-related concerns in Indy and the mayor's handling of the situation?
Well, first of all, there's no excuse for what's happening in Indianapolis. Of course, crime has gone up in many cities around the country, but the fact is we have a higher per capita murder rate than the city of Chicago, which we all love to be horrified by. Well, we should be equally, if not more, horrified by what's going on right here in Indianapolis. That was nothing short of a OK corral last weekend in Indianapolis. It's absolutely unacceptable. It's a complete lack of leadership.
Jennifer, I want to get your response to that, but obviously talking about public safety here, we should also note this week the passing of former prosecutor Terry Curry, someone who's being remembered this week for his role leading some of our local public safety efforts in Indianapolis.
Yeah, Dan, we lost one of the good ones. Terry was just one of those people who, he was a straight shooter right down the middle. I think he always put justice first. If you saw any of the social media tributes to him on Facebook or Twitter, they were all reflective of that sentiment. And all of our thoughts and prayers are obviously with his family for their loss. And I really quickly did want to touch on what Abdul said. We're both in that same downtown merchants Facebook group, and the downtown business community really has stepped up. They really are taking this seriously. And I'm hopeful that, their meetings with IMPD and public safety support will lead to some changes, because I live downtown and it's scary.
All right, let's change gears here. Adam, we talked about Congressman Jim Banks there at the outset. He's obviously made a lot of news nationally lately. The interview last week on Fox News Sunday about police funding, and a piece this week from the Associated Press that really took a close look at some of his political ambitions here.
Yeah, this is a very ambitious figure. He's someone who came up around the same time that Pete Buttigieg did. They served in Afghanistan together, built something of a rivalry, a friendship. But this is someone who could be, a speaker in 10 years from now. He really seems to be cultivating a national profile. And whether or not his current stances agree with his past stances is certainly a fair question to ask.
Abdul, a couple of big legal stories this week at the state level. You had the state of Indiana appealing a judge's ruling dealing with federal unemployment benefits. You also had an abortion ruling, yet another abortion bill from the legislature overturned right before it was set to go into law.
Yes, and I keep wondering why Indiana lawmakers keep tinkering with the abortion issue, because they're like, 0 and 2,000 right now on abortion rulings with the federal court. So why the state keeps doing this, I don't understand. But on the unemployment issue, I thought it was interesting. And because the governor said by keeping the unemployment in place, we're actually harming Hoosiers, which I tend to agree with. But the courts will tend to probably look at things a little bit differently and basically make their decision under state law.
Mike, you served in the legislature. This isn't all that uncommon. You talk about bills being passed that then get shot down in the courts.
No, it's a part of a political game, frankly. Many legislators will author bills either in the Second Amendment area or in the pro-life area. They know the bills are either not going to pass or going to be shot down by a court, but it gets them their A+ ratings with the NRA and with Indiana Right to Life. So they can say, I tried. They look good to their church congregations. They can beat their chest, but they know it's not going to change until something at a much higher level changes, like the Supreme Court.
And Jennifer, obviously these court battles over things like federal unemployment benefits, a lot of real life implications here for Hoosiers who are out of work right now, while a lot of businesses also continue to struggle finding employees.
Absolutely. And I think, we had a heartening jobs report last week that maybe things are starting to pick up, but it's very easy for elected officials, policymakers to, sit in their seats and collect their paychecks when there are plenty of people who are either still struggling to find work or employers who are struggling to find employees. I don't know that I'd be so quick to say that, one of those things has caused the other. But I definitely know that we need to do what we need to do to support Hoosiers, especially as the pandemic continues.
We're also talking about this 4th of July holiday. It had kind of been circled on the calendar here as kind of a milestone date in this fight against COVID. The numbers have been looking much, much better, obviously, as more people get vaccinated. Still, President Biden and Mayor Hogsett both kind of falling short of their 4th of July vaccination goals. We're back open for business at the state level, the local level, the national level. There are concerns about these variants, but Adam, still, this holiday does nonetheless feel like a moment of celebration after everything we've been through the last year and a half.
Yeah, it really does. America in a lot of ways is coming back, and it's a bipartisan achievement. And any progress that we've made up until now really is something I think that's a testament not only to the Biden administration, but a number of great governors as well.
Governor Holcomb, obviously here in Indiana, has been front and center on that fight.
Yes, the governor's followed the science. And you notice that in a lot of states, they would go forward and then have to go back because they kind of overestimated. Indiana has never had to go back. We have stayed at certain stages at a point. But I think it's a tribute to Governor Holcomb and Dr. Box and to Hoosiers in general. All
right, coming up next this Sunday in Focus, after the tragic building collapse in Florida, we're asking how inspectors here try to watch for any danger signs. Stick around, we'll be right back.